and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca and I am working on White Christmas. I actually thought I'd be working on this fireplace for today because I uncovered a section last night and I was like, oh, I'll just do a little bit. Well, I've been multi-placing, so I ended up getting pretty much the whole of the fireplace done. So I've just uncovered this section. I'm not sure how much of this I'll get done. I'm hoping actually that I don't run out of any colours because I haven't brought my extras in with me. We'll see how we go. I remember a couple of them were a little bit low, but I can't remember the symbols that were. I am struggling with how far forward I can pull this because I've got my diamonds tucked. My diamond tub is practically balancing off the edge of the desk just because of the way this is. But yeah, I have been doing some multi-placing in the last week or so. Maybe it's only been a week, maybe it's been a bit more than a week. But it is working really well with these diamonds. There is the odd time I do need to do a little bit of nudging. But it has definitely made some of the white areas especially go a lot faster. That is for sure. And some of the areas like now where I can do a really straight line. I'm using a 4-placer, though occasionally, depending on how I line it up, I can actually pick up 5. So I can sort of get away with 5 if I want to, but primarily doing 4 or less. In that case it was 3, but I need 4, so I'll pick another one up. So yeah, it's definitely helping me to progress on this one, that's for sure. I actually feel like there might be a chance of me getting this one done for Christmas now, just due to the amount that I've been able to do while multi-placing. Plus I have been able to actually find time to diamond paint a little bit more this last week. I've actually had quite a few days where I haven't been able to, but teamed with the multi-placing and the couple of days that I have been able to has actually meant that I've got quite a bit done. So yeah, it's all coming together. I've finished my Heaven and Earth design, of course, so I focused on that more so, well, week before last it will have been. And I'll be starting to de-kit that one this week. It'll be quite fun. I'm doing videos in order this week, or at least that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, very excited to have that one finished. It is a little bit weird not doing some each day. I keep feeling like I have something I should be doing, when in fact I don't, because I have completed it. So yeah, it's taken a little while for my brain to catch up the fact that I don't need to do any more of it. That went completely AWOL, so I'll straighten that one up in a minute. But yeah, I hope everybody is having an amazing week themselves and getting done what they want to get done. But yeah, let's go on to comments and things, because I can't think of any other major sort of updates that we're sharing fully yet, with what's going on in the background. So everything I keep thinking of is other stuff. Though we did finally get our stairs and landing carpet fitted this week. We have, before COVID, don't you love the way that times now go, pre-COVID, post-COVID? So pre-COVID, we planned on changing our hallway carpet, but I wanted to decorate first so that it didn't matter if anything sort of got on the carpet. Got pretty much all the painting done, and then COVID sort of hit, so it wasn't the time to be getting carpets fitted. In between everything opening up again, I decided I actually wanted to change the colour, and I wasn't too happy with the colour we had gone for. So everything got put on hold again while we repainted the hallway. I'd been major busy. We did have somebody in to do some of it, but there was bits that needed finishing off. So a few weeks ago, it was probably a few months ago now, I did get the decorating of the hallway bits finished, completely finished. And then it was just a matter of timing. So the carpet shop, we both wanted to go and pick a carpet. We'd gone quite a few months back, I think, and got a couple of samples of things. However, we could only go sort of on a Saturday morning, and it's one of those that just wasn't the forefront of our mind anywhere near enough. But it's been driving me absolutely batty that it's not been done, and I think I got to the point of, okay, this needs sorting, and it needs sorting ASAP. So we finally decided last Saturday, because I got all my filming done on the Friday. Last Saturday it was like, right, we are going and we are not leaving without having picked a carpet. Luckily they still had all the measurements, because we'd got them out to measure pre-COVID, but not actually got one picked and fitted. So yeah, we picked one, did it, paid for it, right, get it done, and that actually got fitted yesterday. So I'm so happy that is all done. Finally it's all done. And yeah, we keep looking at it and thinking, why didn't we get this done sooner? Isn't that normally the way things go with everything? So yeah, that's our little bit of happy this week, is that our carpet has finally been replaced in the hall. The old one wasn't threadbare or anything, but it was definitely showing signs that it had been down for 15 to 20 years. So yeah, nice new carpet. That's been one of the highlights of our week. And now it's just, of course, the whole making sure that we don't get it dirty. Though it did take me, felt like it took me an eternity to hoover it after getting it fitted. I forget how many bits of carpet you sort of end up with that need some sort of, bit of TLC, emptying the hoover about 5 or 6 times. But it looks good. It was worth it. So Cat Lady, she says, White Christmas is coming along nicely. She said she is on the last third of her large square painting. I'm putting the ABs on because they never go on fully straight. So I want the ABs on so that I can nudge them with diamonds around them. So I don't so much mind that some of those are crooked. I will get to them when I fill in the rest. She said it's a nice bright one, and her husband has been planning where to put it. And that was left on last week's video, so maybe she's finished. Oh, here's one of the colours. That is all that I have in here. So I may have to, when I next save my memory card, or if I need to change my battery, depending on how long I waffle, I will go and get my extra diamonds. But let's use up what's in the pot for now. I was going to do a bit of multi-placing, but because there's only a few diamonds, while I could probably get some of them lined up to multi-place, sometimes I find with so few diamonds in my tray, it's just easier to just put them down single place. I don't know if anybody else does that. Depends how much you multi-place, I suppose. Pink Diamond, she says she hasn't watched in a while due to migraines and depression. She says, but she's feeling okay now. I'm glad you're feeling better. She says she's glad she can do some diamond painting, she says, and catch up with stuff. She says she hopes that I'm doing well. I am, and I hope that you are now that you're back diamond painting. Hopefully it'll help you. It's not necessarily a help for migraines, but hopefully it is a help for the depression, and help that sort of from taking over a bit again, trying to gain top priority when it shouldn't be. But yeah, happy that you're feeling better. Busy Lizzie, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, is it possible if your shop could sell multi-places above 10? She says like 12 or 15 metal multi-places. She says she's the type that uses bigger ones, but she can't get any bigger ones above 10 without spending like £30 and above for one. It's definitely something I'll have a look. Oh, miss one there. Kind of wish. In fact, I'm just going to take one off. This is the colour that I need to restock, but I kind of prefer to fill in the gaps and leave that bigger part for later. Sorry, distracted. Yeah, so I will find out from my supplier if that is something that they offer. I've not seen them, but it doesn't mean they don't have them, because I've not specifically looked. If not, there are a couple of other suppliers that we use that I can see if that is something they offer. No guarantees, but I do actually need to restock some of our multi-places soon. I need to do sort of a mini stock check on them, which is probably the reason I've not just placed the order, because it's not a straightforward 2-second job. So yeah, I'll pop that on my radar and see if that is something that we can get, and see, stock a few and see how popular they are. Blossom Chops, she says she loves the cover paper holder storage idea. She said that sounds awesome. Yeah, my actual samples, we got some samples, but we actually needed a slightly bigger size than a stock size that they do. So we need sort of a custom size of sort of plastic slip covers. And I've ordered some to try. So I've ordered a sample so that we can determine exactly the correct size that we need. They're actually supposed to be on their way. I am surprised that they have not turned up yet. I expected them a couple of days ago. But hopefully once we've got the size of them all nailed down and right, we want them to be easy to use to fit in the sheets of cover paper. Then, yeah, hopefully we will be able to start and change our packaging over. We're hoping that, provided we can find the right size, and it is the size that we think it is, i.e. not a size that costs a whole lot more, we might be able to absorb the cost of the difference in packaging from what we currently use to these thicker plastic wallets. And we'll start changing our cover paper over. So your cover paper will sort of come with its storage. If you've only got a few different lots of patterned cover paper, you can keep them in our cover paper holder wallets. But if you have more, then you can move to some sort of box. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on that one if and when we are able to confirm the size and when we've changed them over. Joy says, have you ever put sealer over glow-in-the-dark drills? She recently got some, but she wondered if the drills would still glow in the dark. I actually haven't. That is something that I possibly would be a good idea to sort of test. Maybe get some different type of diamonds and do like a little test between the two. So here's some diamonds with sealer on, here's some diamonds without. A little experiment. It would be a good experiment to do. I'll have to see if I can get that sort of on my YouTube list before the December event starts, before our December sort of Advent event starts. See if I can squeeze that video into my schedule, because then come December, of course, I will be busy doing my calendar painting and waffling to you guys for for 24 days out of the month, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a busy time, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. Streaks Me says she is loving this painting even more, and she said she can't wait for it to get restocked. She says until then, she says she will live vicariously through me. I did actually check the stock of this before I started filming this video. Now, I am filming this on the Saturday, but it is not showing in stock yet. I'm still holding out hope, but it is not showing in stock yet. So hopefully it will be restocked soon. All I can do is cross fingers. Right, I was keeping this pot out to remind me to get my other diamonds, but I keep going to put pots back in its place, and that's no good for it. Anna Marie, she says, hi Rebecca and everyone. She says she just loves the sparkle in this one. There is a nice little bit of sparkle in this. I actually got to put some of the yellow ABs in the fireplace before. Most of the ABs are white, but there is just a little bit of, there's a blue, a yellow and an orange. Oh, in fact, there's some of the yellow here in this present. I should get that done before I start putting in diamonds around it. I missed that one. I'm not used to recognising the ABs because there isn't many. Say there's a blue, an orange, a yellow, and then the white, which is the main one. But we actually have some yellow in here, and I've just found a white AB that I dropped before. Now I am using putty in my multi-placer. I'm using Abby's putty. So I can get away with using it on the ABs. It doesn't tend to pull the coating off quite as much. So because they were all straight lines, and I've got my pen in my hand, that was a bit easier. Okay, back to normal now. Done the ABs. These presents are lovely. I've just noticed another one that I've missed. That's the only thing with multi-placing that I do find. When I go into multi-place some areas that may have some nice big chunks where I can multi-place, but then also has lots of single bits. Quite often I find that I miss some of the singles because I've already gone over them when multi-placing instead. So that is the one thing I do find with multi-placing, that I can end up missing some of the single places. I find I miss diamonds just a little bit more than I would do. I'm trying to pick up 5 for these because it's a full row. So I'm not placing my multi-placer sort of in the right way over the tops of the diamonds. Instead of trying to catch it so that the diamonds go in the ridges, I'm trying to catch the tops of the diamonds so that I can get them in a row of 5. Because I'm not very good at multi-placing on the horizontal. I'm all right at multi-placing on the vertical, but not the horizontal. Which is why you tend to find me single placing when it comes to the horizontal. So I'll put those in as multi-placing, as single placing, sorry. I like to multi-place first because then I can just use up the remaining diamonds after I've multi-placed to fill in any gaps, because I'm sort of running out of columns of diamonds here that I can use. And rather than tip out more, I'd rather then mop up by doing all my single placing. Clear my tray out is the way I like to see it. But when you've got an area like this that's got some that you can multi-place and some that you can single place, I actually find that works quite well, because if you need to do any nudging of any to sort of straighten anything up, you can straighten up with the diamonds that you single place. So you'll catch me pulling or pushing on the diamonds, and it's more to nudge the one next to it into the right place than it is to get the one I'm placing down looking as good. Because not all of my multi-placing is straight, but it tends to fix itself enough around the others. Or at least that's what I tend to find. Definitely when I step back, sometimes I can look at it and think that's not quite right, but I take a step back and I can't see it at all. So that's when I tell myself to stop being quite so fussy. You can't see it when you move back, so stop being fussy. I do keep nudging this out the way though. Bev, she says, hi everyone. She says she loves the sound of the storage for the cover papers. She says she can't wait to see them. I will try and show you actually when I go and get my other diamonds. I will go and get the one cover paper holder that we've got that's a bit too much of a snug fit. It does loosen up a little bit after you've had them in and out, but it's a bit too snug, you know, to feel like everybody can work with it with their hands. We want to make things as easy as possible. So what I'll do is I'll go and get my diamonds for when I hit this colour again, and I'll get the plastic wallet so that you've got a visual idea of roughly what it's going to look like. Right, I'm back. I've got my extra diamonds. So when I come up to that colour again, I can top up. I am getting to that point. I'm not quite halfway. If you can see by this Paint With Passion that's written across the bottom, this is probably the halfway point. But I'm definitely at the point where diamonds keep running out more. This is the idea for the cover sheets. So we're getting one made that is just a couple of mils wider. But the idea is that you will get these in the plastic wallet. I say this one I have had these in and out quite a few times, so it fits okay, but when you first get it, it doesn't fit like really nicely. So we're trying a couple of mils wider to see if that works better. But yeah, the idea is that you'll get them like this, so that if you've got the likes of our cover paper holder, you can just slot them in and it will keep them together. So if, like me, you're starting to replace, switch everything out for pretty ones, you can keep your sort of collection types together. But then you can, if you end up with too many to fit in the likes of one of these wallets, then you can get a storage box that will either hold them upright or on their side, and it will still work. I mean, I'm pushing down to push them out, so it will still work on its side or upright, and then you can have them to flip through. So just to give you a visual of what that looks like. Little sidetrack. What do I want to do now? Let's get that tick done up the top out the way. She says, Bev also says, she says her list of things that she wants to buy from me, she said, is long enough without you adding more lovely stuff. She says, you just want to bankrupt me, don't you? I just want you to be able to have all the pretty things, Bev. Order pretty things. She says she doesn't even dare look in the shop at the moment. She says because the little bit of self-control that she does have will go out of the window. She says she hopes everyone has a wonderful week ahead. There are just so many pretty things. I'll admit I have gone a little bit crazy on the cover paper. Recently, I've been absolutely loving having the different patterns. They're also thicker. The cover paper, this patterned cover paper is thicker than the standard double-sided cover paper that we do, and it's actually holding up really, really nicely, because I've of course had this off and put it back on quite a few times now as I'm working through each section, and yeah, it's definitely sturdier, I think, than the normal standard thickness of cover paper. So I've been loving it. Right, is that all I've got of that one? No, it's not. Nearly missed these two up here, and that was a bad idea. I decided to try and multi-place two, and they just did not want to go straight. So let's do some single placing and some nudging while I'm at it. Sharon, she says she's loving White Christmas. She says she was diagnosed with COPD, which is chronic lung disease, she says, this year. She says her mum had it. She said she was so ill and she was struggling to breathe last year. She says, but she quit smoking last October. She says, and wow, she says she is so much better. She said until the dreaded flu/pneumonia jabs she now needs. She says because she has been poorly after having them. She says, but they are essential, they tell me. Yeah, you can get quite ill after the likes of the flu jabs, but if it's just, you know, a mild dose of what the flu or pneumonia would be, then you can imagine how much iller you would be if you'd had both. But very well done on the quitting smoking. That is an amazing achievement, because it is definitely not easy. That is for sure. So big whoop whoops. And as much as the flu jab and stuff makes you ill, hopefully you have been able to recover. Take some time for yourself. Maybe use it as your reason for having a bit of downtime. Give yourself a bit more me time, whether that be diamond painting or whether that just be binge watching TV. It's better in the long run. She also says she's waffling now, because she's come back with another comment. She says she's waffling now, but she wanted to say was while she was off work, she spent a lot more time diamond painting. Oh, that's good to know. A lot more time diamond painting and watching my WIP and Waffles. She said it helped her so much. Well, I'm so happy I could keep you company while you recovered from the likes of the flu jab. And is there a pneumonia jab? Maybe it is sort of tied in, because I think flu can lead to pneumonia, I think. So, yeah, glad I was able to keep you company, even if it was a bit of a lousy time. But you can get on with winter now, feeling a little bit better, that you're more protected than you maybe were beforehand. She also says, thank you so much. You're welcome, Sharon. Dana, she says she loves my channel, she says, and she loves White Christmas. She says, but it has taken so long to come back. It definitely has. It definitely has taken a long time to come back. Production times are not quick. They really aren't quick, which can be very disappointing, but, you know, these things, these masteries take time. Okay, why can I not find... Oh, I've actually got another AB. Blind as a bat. Number 9 is an AB. It's actually quite dark on here compared to how bright orange it is. So I've not even realised that I have another AB. She said... Dana says she's afraid that she might not want it by the time it does come out. That is sometimes a risk, that it may be something that you don't want. I suppose a lot of it is how much you love the image. If it is an image that you do love, it may be something that is still worth getting. Trying to take the top off with my teeth to push that back in. For the other end of my pen, that was probably not the best thing for my pen. Yeah, maybe it's something that you get but you don't do until next year. Though of course there is always a risk that there's something else that you'd prefer then. Though having said that, I think Diamond Art Club are releasing Christmas ones today. Today as I'm filming this, yesterday as you're watching it. To me, I suppose, then again, I think they only did Halloween a week or two ago. I suppose people buy them while it's sort of the season and the time of thinking for them. But maybe they don't do them till next year. Because I don't think there's any way you'd be able to get... I mean, unless you have a lot of time to diamond paint, I don't think there's much time to get a huge chunk of Christmas paintings done. Not to have them displayed for the beginning of December anyway. I suppose you've got a month, depending on how quick they show up. It really does depend on how quick you diamond paint. Dana says she is somebody that moves on quickly when she can't make something work. She says she just moves on to make other things happen. She says, and with new releases releasing every Saturday, she says this one just might not make the list. Well, I'm sure another one will take its place if this one doesn't make the list, and bring you maybe a different, a more heightened level of excitement because you are able to get hold of it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, provided you love what you're doing and you get the excitement levels from doing diamond paintings that you're doing. Then let them be what they'll be. She says she spends too much money. She spent too much money for her last Dreamers Designs order. She says she can't buy any more for now. She says she did not buy any canvas for over 5 months, but then she broke her no-buy with 3 kits on Sunday morning. It's one way to do it. If you're going to break it, break it. She says she got Lakeside Paradise Japanese Garden. She's done, she says, until Black Friday. I think they had like an early Black Friday sale on Dreamers Designs the other day. I'm sure it was like buy one, get one 60% off, which I'm not sure if I took advantage of that last Black Friday. I might have done. I think maybe that was when I got some of my other Dreamer Designs. I'm trying to be good now and just sticking to getting ones that really excite me, rather than going looking for diamond paintings. I'm going with diamond paintings that find me, which, doesn't help the enablers that there are in the group. Quite often they help diamond paintings to find me, quite often, but it's working. It's keeping my stash from growing too quickly. Cross Stitch and Tat. She says she is working on Dreamer Designs Gingerbread Lighthouse. She says with 2 symbols so close to being the same, she says that these old eyes are having trouble. She said both diamonds are different shades of the same green. They're right next to each other. One is a red bow tie and the other one is a red H. Oh, and it's just giving you... okay. The red dye of the printing is blurred, she says, so both symbols look the same. That can be something that can be a struggle. I often find with those that sometimes actually having a light pad on can make it worse. So if it's one of their older canvases that I've had trouble with as well, having a light pad on made it worse. And I found there was a couple of symbols, I think there was a couple of red and a couple of green that I really struggled with. But if I did those symbols in the daytime with daylight, and then did the others at night time with the light pad, I found you can get away with it that way, though it's not the best. I've just realised I missed a cue. It's not the best way to do it, but it is a way that you can sort of get around it. I know there was some on one of them, one of the bad canvases that I had. I actually found that because I knew what the 2 symbols were, it was 2 green ones. It was on one of the Anne-Marie Bond paintings, I think, that I did. I found that it was actually the shading So if you ignore the letter, like there's a couple of shades here that are very close. And if I paid attention more to the shading than to the symbol, I was able to put diamonds down on the darker shading and then switch to put it on the lighter shading. And I actually ignored the symbols in my head a bit. I actually ignored what the symbols were to make it work for me. But yeah, there are some that are difficult. I've not had any problem with White Christmas. There are quite a few symbols that are very similar. There's a couple of symbols that are similar but different enough, like they're clear enough to tell. There's just a couple of symbols that I sort of have to pay attention that I've picked up the right one. So there is this one that has black. So it's this symbol with black. The other one has white. So the actual symbol itself is white. They're both the same symbol but different orientation. So one's facing this way, one's facing this way, which really doesn't help when I work with it on its side. Probably doesn't help matters, but they're both browns. So I have to pay attention to the fact as to whether the symbol is black or white. But I've had no trouble with seeing what any of the symbols are. So they have definitely improved things on the newer versions of the canvases, that's for sure. But if you find that you're struggling too much, all I can suggest is, oh, I've actually got loads of this down here. Yeah, it is that one. I turn my pot lid around every now and then just to check. If you find that you are struggling loads, then maybe it's one to put aside until the likes of the summer months. I did the bulk of my Anne-Marie Bon one in the summer, and it was loads easier because with the daylight coming from above, I could see it a lot clearer than having a light pad on. A light pad just did not help. She says, as to strange sandwiches, she says, when they were young and poor, they ate many a sandwich, she said, with butter on bread. I love butter on bread. It might be a basic sandwich, but in fact, it's not even really a sandwich if it's not got any topping on it, but bread and butter. Oh, gorgeous. She says, salt and a slice of raw onion. Ooh, very nice. She says her granddaughter likes to dip her peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in a spicy Mexican salsa. Wow. I just still can't get over the PB&J, to be honest. Peanut butter and jam. No, I just can't get my head around that one. Just doesn't commute with me at all. But as I say, I've not been brought up on that sort of sandwich, so yeah, it's a bit confusing for me. I don't think I could try it. Don't think I could bring myself to. Amy, she says, talking about banana, she said it's a bit of a good one. She says at the end of a barbecue, she says when it's dying, she says have a banana in a skin. She says put on tin foil with a split in it with chocolate buttons. She says the giant ones are best. She says put the chocolate buttons in the split of the banana split. She says wrap in tin foil and leave in the bottom of the barbecue. She says and then eat once they've all melted and cooked. That sounds nice. Banana and chocolate definitely sounds nice, and I can imagine cooked on a barbecue. It'll smell even nicer. Right, I'm just struggling to find batches to multi-place at the minute, just due to the odd one having an air bubble or something that I want to miss. So I think I've got the bulk of them now. I'm going to go back through and just single place the rest of them, because then I can pick and choose which diamonds I want to include and which ones I don't. I find that better than tipping out a load more and adding a load more to them. But that's just me. Just checking that I have got them all. Lady Dax, she says she thinks she has put 2 and 2 together and come up with 99. She says maybe she has an idea as to what the big project is. She says she'll not say here in case she spoils anything. She says she could be completely wrong. Could be, because I have no idea what you're thinking of. So it could be either way. But yes, we do have a project going on in the background around here. And hopefully it won't be too long until there'll be a full reveal. User WW7YS70G5C. I like it. She says thank you for another, or she or he says thank you for another amazing video. They took some time out from diamond painting. They still watch my videos, but they took a bit of time out, and then they watched it today, and they've got their diamond painting out. Well, I hope you thoroughly enjoy it. Sometimes we do need to take a break from things. It really depends what else quite often is going on with life in general. But don't feel bad if you've taken time out. You will either find that it is not something you're as passionate about as maybe you thought or you want to be. Sometimes it's more of a want than it actually being there. Or you'll go back to it with sort of a new level of vigour and excitement and find the love for it all over again. I hope either way it works for you. Kim, she says, you mentioned that you try to spruce up your videos, she says, and perfect polish them. She says, stop right there. Bless you, Kim. She says, your videos are already perfect. She says, the charm of your videos, she said, is the down-to-earth way. You share your craft with us mortals. Well, I join in the mortals stance. Don't go putting yourself as a mortal and me not. She says, and letting us see you just as you are. She says she personally loves hearing Luna in the background. That's because it's dulled down. Believe me, that girl can be loud. She's the loudest person in our house, probably followed by me. She says, and your family living it up in the house in the background as well. She says, while you apologise for the noises, she says, which is unnecessary, by the way, she says she loves all of my videos and totally enjoys how real you are. Oh, thank you. Well, in the effort of keeping it real, just to let you know what's going on in the background of our house today, Megan is out celebrating a friend's birthday, so she has driven, I think it's an hour or two away, to go visit uni friends and celebrate a birthday with them. Catherine is back home from uni again. She's come home again just for the weekend. She's not on half term until week after next. But she said she was trying to decide whether to come home or not, and because we were having the carpet fitted and everything else, and Luna's not the best when there's people in the house, I was like, yes, come home, come back to me. So yeah, she was a great help yesterday when the house was busy and letting me get on and speak to people I needed to speak to. So she's currently doing uni work in our room. Son's in the house, he's upstairs. Hubby has cleaned up the back garden today, taken a trip to the tip with the old carpet, etc. from the hallway, and he has cleaned out the patio, and he is now currently getting a bit of chill time while I film. So yeah, that's sort of roughly how our weekends mainly sort of go. Get a few bits done, then I film. Hubby has his bit of downtime from working all week. Megan is sometimes in the house, sometimes not. It's half term next week, but she is planning on when Caris went to Australia, my memory card was saving. When Caris went to Australia, and we switched Lewis and Catherine's bedrooms about, Megan pinched Catherine's 3/4 bed, or small double as we call it in the UK. She pinched her bed because Caris wasn't in the room anymore, but Caris is due back, so Megan's plan for this half term is to get the room back to a space where Caris will actually have somewhere to sleep, which is probably a good idea. So yeah, that's her plans for next week, is to completely blitz and rearrange her room. And Luna's napping with Will on the couch at the moment, though I'm sure that'll change when I go back out there. Reader Woman says she loves ketchup on her ice cream. I just don't think, I'm not saying I don't like it because I've never tried it, but I'm just not sure if that is something, again, that I could try and force myself to try. I just don't know if I've got it in me, that's for sure. Mops the Tops says she grinned when I happened to say that there is one street in our house that celebrates Halloween. Yes, one house in our street. Actually, next door, who do have young children, they've actually got a couple of things up this year. Just a couple of banners and something covering the front door. But it's the first time I've seen them have something up, though the children are a little bit more school age, a little bit older now. So they're probably also seeing the house next door to them, so next door but one to us, that always decorates for Halloween. But yeah, she's been out there decorating this week. I've seen her putting all her spooky stuff up, and thoroughly enjoying getting the house. But that's all I've really seen. There's the odd thing around where somebody will just put one token thing up, but that's about it. Diamond King Now says what they'd like to see for cover paper would be some kind of fireman design. Oh, I like that idea as well. I keep getting lost down the cover paper trap of finding loads more designs that would look amazing as cover paper. Hopefully we'll be able to get through some of them soon, and just keep bringing different offerings, because everybody has different tastes. Every painting suits a different diamond painting, a different cover paper design, so it'd be quite nice to offer quite a few, and we are just going to keep working through them, as you know, sort of a reasonable amount of time difference, but be rest assured there will be plenty of cover paper designs coming. Plenty of different ones, and we are listening to all your suggestions. It may take us a while to get through them all, but we will try and hunt for many people's suggestions as much as we can. Sue says she thinks she knows what the big project is that's going on. She says she thinks that we're building a summer house to run Admore Zest out of. We are definitely doing something in relation to helping the storage situation with Admiral Zest, helping us to be able to hold more different product lines, hold more stock of some things, and definitely get some of the stock levels of things out of the house. It's not so much where they are in the craft room, but there are pockets of stock all over other different areas of the house that varies at different times of year. As you can imagine, with our December event coming up, we have a bit more stock of the likes of diamond paintings than we normally do. So yeah, they're in a few more places. They won't all fit in the craft room. So yes, we are working on something to help with that. And hopefully once the move of stuff is complete, I'll be able to share a lot more with you. But it's going to be exciting. It's definitely going to keep me busy. It's already keeping me busy. I've already been working on plans this morning. Just because I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. Carrie says hello. She says great WIP and Waffle again. Thank you, Carrie. She says it's so easy, she said, to just relax and diamond paint. She says when she has me talking in the background. She says she has amazing news. She says the fundraising that they did to help her dog's bladder cancer surgery, she says, was a success. Awesome news. She said we raised the total amount and his surgery is scheduled for November the 7th. Perfect. So happy. So happy that you've got that sorted. And I bet it's a big sigh of relief to yourself as well, that's for sure. Right, I do have a few more questions. I'm going to go through the few more questions and that's when I'm going to determine when to stop. Because as much as I think this isn't too much that's left, I started there. So I've probably done about half. And some of this I can do quicker because I can multi-place. But I'm going to let the questions decide because I do still have quite a few videos to film for this week. Sarah, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she knows that I don't mind. She says, but long comment warning. She says she hasn't commented in probably a month or so now. She said her dad has unexpectedly been in the hospital. Oh, and it's been a huge stress, she says, on our little family. I can imagine. Hang on, sorry. She says she wanted to thank you so very much, she says, for all of my videos and WIP and Waffles. She says it has been such a huge comfort in the storm. She says, and I've helped her to get through this hard time. She says, if you ever question if doing YouTube is really worth it, she said she can promise me that it is. She said, hearing the soothing voice of a friend, of a friend and listening to you talk about diamond painting, even when she couldn't herself, she said is such a release. She said, I know you have been asking what videos are important to us. She says, and she just wanted to weigh in. She says, most importantly for her, she says, is she loves as many WIP and Waffles as I have the time for. She says, following that, she likes the kit ups, kit downs, the unboxings of the more premium companies. She says she'll admit that even though she knows that I only show licensed or free to use artwork on your channel. She says once she knows that a company does sell some unlicensed art, she can't bring herself to buy from them, which I get. I do get that. And that's not a bad standpoint to have. I very much have to, it's a very fine line for me, because not everybody can afford premium. And I want to, I want to respect that and bring other options to people who can't afford premium all the time or even at all. Some people, it's a matter of occasionally they can treat themselves to a premium, but some people just can't afford a premium whatsoever. So it's a very fine line for me, trying to make sure that there is the options for cheaper ones, but keeping it to artwork that they are allowed to use. But yeah, it's hard, but I do get your standpoint. She says she knows that not everyone has the luxury of buying the more expensive paintings, which I have, which is what I've basically just said and you've agreed with. And teach me to not read the full comment out first. She says, but personally, she won't buy from those companies anyway. Which to say, I totally get. If you're in the position not to, then I completely get your standpoint on that one. She says, since you did say those videos take a long time for you, she says she was wondering if perhaps you might want to do them less frequently. Yeah, I think I have been slowing down some of them a little bit, trying to, space some of them out. I still want to be able to offer options, but they just take a lot of prep work. So I don't think they'll go completely, because I do believe that people should have options if their budget will only let them get the cheaper ones. I do think we need to show those options. But yeah, maybe not as many will take a little bit of the pressure off. But hopefully keep some variety up. She says anyway, again, she said she just wanted to thank me for all that I do. And thank you for being a soothing voice and a comfort for me. Well, thank you very much, Sarah, for taking the time to write that long comment, which I get is a very busy and probably stressful time for all of you. I hope your dad is doing loads better. And that you're just taking the family time that you need. Just, take that time, enjoy the time that you all have, and try not to let the stressful parts get you down. Enjoy the small stuff in between. It's the small stuff that ends up counting, and it's often the small stuff that ends up being remembered. Not all by those that you love anyway. It's the small things that you do that are remembered, not the big things. Primarily. Blossom Chops says, please can we have spring flowers cover paper, snowdrops, daffodils, tulips, grape hyacinths, ordinary hyacinths, etc. We do have quite a lot of flower ones, different sort of types of flowers. I don't know if I could name them all. I'm not a green thumb, but yeah, we do have quite a few flower ones coming up, and yeah, once we've gone through some of those designs, maybe we can see what sort of gaps we're missing in things after that. That is the most not straight to each other set of multi-placing I've done in a while. Let me just give all those a little nudge, at least make them a little bit closer together. Try that. I do spend a bit of time nudging things about, but it's still quicker. Judith says, yes, they have heard of biscuits and gravy for breakfast. It's eaten way in the southern states of the USA. She said she lives in the upper state of Massachusetts. I can never say that word right. She says, and no one up here would dare eat biscuits and gravy for breakfast. She said she loves my comment about eating them for breakfast so much that she nearly choked to death while drinking some water. She said she then got the giggles just thinking about it. She said it was a great conversation. She said while listening to you and watching you do your whip and waffle. Oh, thank you, Judith. That was on one of my older Le Scale Trellicase diamond paintings, which was actually also a Dreamer Designs. Not planned, in no way sponsored. But yeah, it seems as though I seem to have done quite a few videos on a couple of Dreamer Designs paintings recently. But sometimes that is just the way things go. Sometimes I end up more on one company's paintings than another. And it is in no way for any particular reason. If it, any way it was, I would let you know. So if anything's sort of sponsored and all the rest of it, I'd let you know. But all of my whip and waffles, kitting ups, all that sort of stuff is all my own stash, my own choice, my own doing. And I'm doing them because I want to, and therefore I share the process with you. None of them are because I've been asked to. Occasionally unboxings are, especially from the lower priced companies. They do tend to gift me the paintings themselves, but I choose them and I choose what to say. Companies don't tend to tell me what to say. If there are some companies that I work with, or some of them do try to tell me what to say, and then I say, no, that's not the way I work. You can have this option or this option. And they tend to let me say what I need to say, if required. And last but not least, Chris says they have Hopes Run Deep by Chuck Pinson. It is their first Chuck Pinson diamond painting. I don't know if I've had one of his either. I don't think I have. But I've definitely been loving doing this one, that's for sure. Even more so since I've been multi-placing with it. Is that just a bit different to what I normally say / do? I'm normally not against multi-placing, but I'm normally not necessarily a big fan of it either. It's taken me a while to sort of get used to it, but I have been enjoying with this one multi-placing. There are some sections, I think it's because the excitement level of the picture as well, but there are some sections that I still feel like it's taking a nice chunk of time to do it, but by multi-placing it's not taking a ridiculous amount of time to do it, because quite often I think things are going to take less time than they do, so I often underestimate the time that something's going to take rather than overestimating. So multi-placing is actually making the time it takes more what's in my head in the first place, if that makes sense. So it's working quite well for me. But I am going to leave this section. I'll probably do this section tonight and then start on the next part. But I like to put my cover paper up this way because I've got some that have got diamonds on and some that haven't. So I tuck it underneath so I've got a nice strip where it can get a solid grip, and then I just let that hang down, and that will keep it covered from dust and stuff. And as I say, I will probably finish this part off this evening. And then I end up messing with a bit of my multi-placing by sticking my nail in, trying to straighten it up, but that's a job for another time. Anyway, that is it for today's Whip and Waffle. Thank you all so much for your comments, etc. that have been left, and on my Heaven and Earth designs. I have been replying / reacting to all the Heaven and Earth design comments, but I'm actually rather excited to start the de-kitting of my Heaven and Earth design this week. Should be fun. But yeah, I will speak to you all again soon.